Hi Twin Flames, welcome back to my channel and welcome those of you who are here for the first time. I'm going to talk to you today about how do you move forward into union and harmonious union if you and or your twin flame are married to another. So I have a lot of videos on this topic and you can check them out if you do a search on my channel. But the point that I want to make in this video is that there's a path that you must walk, and there's a few elements to this path that are maybe a little bit different to someone who doesn't have this situation in their union. But if you don't have the situation in your union, you're going to have other things there that you need to work through too. So if you're not married or your twin flame's not married, or etc., you can keep watching this video because you're going to see the things that are worked through here and apply them to your own life. So let's first talk about the truth. So the truth is you and your twin flame are already one. You're already married in divine truth. You're created as one. So you might ask, like, okay, well then why, if the divine created me, why did the divine allow me to marry someone else? I'm putting that in quotation marks for a reason. It's not that the divine, allowed you in the sense of, let it happen as a negligent thing, not to be mean. Not like, oh, well, that's terrible. It's too bad for them. They're choosing the person that's not their twin flame. That's not what the divine does. The reason that this is allowed is because you are a divine being. You create your reality. You choose either love or fear, either alignment with the divine or not. And you have your whole lifetime to make choices, right? And you're learning what is aligned with divine truth and what isn't aligned with divine truth. Your life is about learning the difference. So don't be hard on yourself. I was married before. I had 2 marriages. I didn't know what twin flames were at the time, but deep in my heart, I was always looking for the one. I thought that these 2 were it. They weren't. But there's no point in getting hard on yourself. For me, even though I didn't know what a twin flame was or who my twin flame was at the time, it was very easy for me to end those marriages because I was committed to feeling good and I was not feeling good. And I made a huge effort to improve our marriages, did counseling, spiritual counseling, everything. Nothing worked. It was torturous. I was torturing myself by staying with a person who wasn't designed to be with me. And it just felt like 2 same ends of a magnet, just this repulsion. I would walk home and my then ex would be there and I'm like, oh, I need to go into another room. It just felt so bad. And I decided, like, I had a really hard time numbing out, which some people would consider like a curse, but I considered it a blessing, that I could not just numb out and go through the motions just like the rest of the world seemed to be able to do. I couldn't feel good doing that. So that was easy for me, but I understand that it's not easy for others to feel how bad it feels being married to someone that's not for you, and to put yourself first and to put your joy and your happiness and yourself first, because there's a lot of belief systems that are intact. One of the belief systems I see other people believing in is a belief system that's based on guilt, like a belief system that if you choose yourself and you leave a marriage that is not divine, that's bad. And so a lot of people, I might get some comments under this video like, how dare you talk about marriage that way? It's sanctified and godly. And it is. I respect marriage. I honor marriage. I honor marriage so much that I do not want to dishonor marriage by forcing myself to be miserable with someone who's not my true partner. I choose marriage. I choose commitment, and I choose working through things. If I'm in a marriage and no matter how committed I am to that person and nothing is moving forward, how is that a marriage? It's a prison. right? That's not marriage. Marriage isn't a prison. Marriage isn't suffering. Like, let's see how much we can suffer until we die if you're with the person that's not meant for you. Some of you might have a belief system that you have to stay together for other people. Oh, my family will get hurt. My children will live through a divorce. Let me tell you what happened when I was a kid. My parents divorced. I was 15 when they divorced. Between the ages of 10 and 15, my sister and I literally met with my parents. We had a family council. We invented it. We told our parents they should get divorced, and they were like, no, we're just working things out. And we are miserable. We hear you fighting. Even when you're not fighting out loud, the tension in the house is palpable. You could slice it with a knife, right? Like, it feels miserable to us. We don't want you to stay together. Like, my sister and I, as children are intuitive. They know when you're sacrificing yourself, and they're watching you. They're seeing their parent sacrifice themselves, their happiness, their joy, just to be with someone else. And that was teaching, before my parents' divorce, that was teaching my sister and I, we got to settle. You got to put up with it. You got to put up with emotional abuse or whatever it was, right? That's not the message that my sister and I wanted. And maybe we were weird kids. Maybe I'm weird, but I knew that God didn't want me to unnecessarily suffer. I knew that. And it's not like I, didn't make an effort in my marriages, or that my parents didn't make an effort in theirs. It's that you can't mash puzzle pieces together that don't fit. Maybe it looked like the right fit. When I chose to marry my exes, it looked like they were the one. They checked all these boxes. But then as we explored in our marriage, it was very clear that they didn't love me and I didn't love them. Not the way that we each needed to be loved as a husband and wife, right? It wasn't there. You couldn't pretend it was there. It's never too late to have that realization. So yes, I'm very dedicated to marriage and to seeing things through. Like, I overturned every rock. It's not like I had an argument and then left. I really did do everything I could until what I was doing was beyond what was divine to do. And so that's something that you need to consider yourself. Like, are you doing all you can to find out if the person that you're married to, maybe they're your twin flame, right? If they're not, and if you know that they're not, ask yourself, why are you staying? Is it for the kids? Your kids know you're not happy, and they're watching you, and they're learning from you, that, right? Is it for other people, the shame? So you're avoiding other people's judgments over true love? Like, really consider these things. So the second part I want to talk about is, okay, so have compassion for yourself. If you've been in a marriage and you've given it a lot, right? You have given it your all. Maybe you've gone to counseling, maybe you've tried to make it work. The truth is, if you're awake to your twin flame journey, you know someone else is designed to be with you. You might click away from this video after what I'm going to say. It can't work with anybody, not your twin flame, in the long run. You might have a long stretch where you've figured out how to have certain transactions in your relationship that make it tolerable. But it's not going to be eternal. It's not going to work for lifetimes. It's not going to carry forward to the next life and beyond. And it's not going to develop and grow. You're going to reach a stalemate with your partner, and you either have a choice to continue the stalemate and continue the status quo, continue the transactions that needed to be in place, the boxes like, oh, I've got to do words of affirmation for you, and you've got to do physical touch for me, and we're kind of sort of placated. Like, you're going to reach a point where there's a plateau. Some people, most of the people on the planet now, have settled for that. But I want you to have a divine relationship with your divine lover true spouse on earth as it is in heaven. It's not too late to make a new choice. And yes, that will be challenging, especially in my case. I do have to share, I didn't have kids. We weren't married for that long. We had a 3-year relationship and a 4-year relationship. Some of you have been with a person you know isn't your twin flame for like 10, 20 years, even more. And you've been suffering and you've got so used to settling in the status quo that, you know, it feels almost scary to step out away from that. So perhaps you think that your source of comfort comes from your current marriage, or your source of wealth, or your source of prosperity, your source of safety comes from being married. And maybe it's scary to step away, and just have compassion for yourself in that place. You're going to chip away with it. If you're working with me or watching Twin Flame Ascension School, you're going to chip away at these feelings little by little, step by step. God doesn't work in a non-compassionate way. You're not going to be like ripped away and everybody's like, chakras are exploding because you've suddenly fled and, you're living under a bridge. Like, that's not how it will work, or how the divine works. But after you've chipped away, it's kind of like, I said this to someone the other day, it's kind of like you've got the vines and the debris around. There's this big door that has been there the whole time, that it's the door to your union, the door to being with your twin flame. And you're like chipping away the vines around it. These little upsets, like the fears of, and suddenly like you've cleared all those fears. But then there's that door. And you can't chip away at the door. You can chip away at the stuff in front of the door, but the door is just one choice thing. You either walk through the door or you don't. So there will come a time when you do need to walk through that door to the other side. So predominantly you've been speaking to those of you who are married. But if you're watching this and your twin flame is married to someone else and you aren't, it's not that dissimilar. It's pretty much the same thing. It's like somewhere in your one consciousness, in your little twin flame birdie, you have chosen at the core to have this other person there. Why? Is that person perhaps a buffer, like a safety blanket, a security blanket, where you're just like, you've got this like buffer here, because I don't want to get close to my twin flames. I'm going to put this false partner there, and my twin flame's going to hold on to it like a teddy bear. Meanwhile, because you're mirrors, you have something similar within you. It might not be a person like a spouse, but it might be your job that you're using to prevent you from being intimate and vulnerable with yourself. It might be your anger. I had that. I was kind of almost addicted to being angry. Like, I know that sounds very bizarre, but I had used my anger to prevent me from going deeper. My anger was a form of numbing out. So there's some kind of buffer that you've chosen there in your one consciousness with your twin flame. So it can be worked through. I'd love to help you. If you resonate with me in this video, it might mean that I am your coach to walk you through, and I will guide you all the way. And I have resources for you. The best resource is Twin Flame Ascension School, because this teaches your consciousness how to attain harmony, how to be aligned with the divine. You'll need those classes to give you that spiritual education, and then I'll help you walk through what it is that you're moving through specifically. So if you want to try an introductory session with me, you can go to twinflamesuniverse.com and request me as an ascension coach, or you can join one of my groups, and I've got the link to do that in the video description box under this video. So thanks so much for being here. If you made it to the end of the video, congrats. I wish you many blessings. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in my next video, or in a session, or in one of my groups. Take care.